So when it comes to smart speakers in general, it is safe to say that people probably are picking from Google's line of products or the Amazon line of products. And I also guess that when it comes to devices and what people are actually picking, it's probably between the Google Home Mini and the Amazon Echo Dot, mainly because these products, both cost on sale and regular price, are definitely more attractive than the next tier up products and pretty much anything else that they both sell. But besides prices, could there be other advantages to buying the small devices over the larger ones? Well, at least for the Google Home Mini, Kiwi Design believes that they have provided something that will give you and your devices the versatility it needs while keeping the price relatively low. How's it going, everybody? My name is dushaunwilliams, and today we're going to be going over 3 products made by Kiwi Design, the G1, G2, and G3, and why these may be a perfect fit for you. When I first got these, I honestly had a hard time trying to figure out if these things were something that people would bother to use, let alone pay for. Maybe because I kind of think in my own worldview about how much effort people are willing to put forth to make something like this work for them. But I also have a hard time coming to terms that people would buy anything for the Google Home Mini that's not close to a skin or something. But it really comes down to what I would normally use my own Google Home Minis instead of what I could possibly do it if I was able to move it around more. So it's time to just play around with them and to see if we can get some fun out of these products. The first one that caught my attention was actually the G2 because I wanted to know what was the selling point to this one besides what I can tell from the front of the box. When I first took it out of the box, it just looked like a ton of rubber parts that were stuffed in a box with an additional magnet to go with it. But when you look at it, you could probably figure out where everything goes based on the shape. First big part goes around the Google Home itself, while the other part is for the power cord itself. It was actually sad that these didn't come with a power cord already, but it does have a nice way of hiding the original power cord in the plug itself. And before trying to thread through the holes with the power cord, make sure you start from the middle and completely go through the hole until the plug is completely in the socket to make the process of wrapping the cord around much easier. After you have threaded and put everything into the sockets, all you need to do is pretty much connect the USB cord to the actual device itself like you have here, and the 2 magnets are in both the pieces. You can put them together and there you go. You have a clean way of putting your Google Home onto the wall outlet and it looks kind of nice. Now I like that the G2 comes in both that gray and that kind of like blackish gray, so it matches the ones that I have now, but at the time of this video I don't see the other colors being available. But I feel like the designs work well and the color, I mean, it looks really decent. It does kind of come out. But one question that I did have was actually the magnets themselves and why they decided to go with this approach for the product. But then I remember that it actually came with an additional magnet, and what you're supposed to be doing with that additional magnet is actually drill that into the wall so that when you have the 2 devices together, you can actually just put this into this wall socket, and then this you can just mount it on the wall with a magnet so that way it doesn't stick so much out from the actual wall itself, and you can maybe put more stuff in front of it. Right now how it stands, it kind of sticks out pretty far. But to be honest, I still like doing it this way. I really do feel like it just kind of just looks better, and I do like kind of doing that. That's actually not such a big thing, but I will say that with this way, since it is kind of a heavy product, if you put it in the socket and the socket is not seated correctly because of how heavy this is, you're probably going to notice that this thing is probably going to like fall out a little bit or enough to where it pretty much powers off. So be careful about that. The next product I want to talk about now is the G1. This one I thought was funny because the first thought that came in my head was, why would anybody want to have a Google Home with them wherever they go, especially if they have an Android phone or they can just download the Google Assistant? I mean, I know Siri's sense of direction is bad, but not that bad that you have to bring your $250 Google Home Mini with you with a $30 accessory just to get the job done. So before we go into why, let's talk about the G1 itself. What you're getting is a 7800 milliamp battery that will last you about 16 hours on and off with different kinds of activity, but if you were pretty much streaming, you should be able to get like 12 hours of constant comes in play. The G1 connects to the Home Mini with a well-placed micro USB cord, and you just push the Mini into the G1 and there you go. The G1 comes in 3 colors, gray, blackish gray, and orange, to match the Google Homes that you're going to be pairing with it. It doesn't come in the special teal color that you can get at Walmart or the Google website, but honestly, I believe mismatching them will look better in the end than trying to match it one-to-one. I actually like the black greenish teal combo and would personally like it more though if it came with a purple or green Home Mini to make you look even better. The G1 does have a battery indicator, which is an LED light that lights up 4 dots in the front. Now I would understand if you saw the 4 dots and you thought that each light represents 25% of battery. But if you look at the manual, at the 3 dot mark it's actually 70%, the 2 dot mark is 50%, and the 1 dot mark is actually 10%. Now that will definitely be confusing, but I actually like this better because I know 1 dot definitely means that it's on this last leg, just like my fiance's car gas light when it shows only 2 dashes just to say, hey, it's anyone's guess at this point how much you have left. Also, if there was anything I feel that is negative is the time it takes to charge this thing. In the manual it says it takes about less than 7 hours when it's completely powered off, and more if you're going to still have it on while it's charging. But the good news that I could give you is when I was charging it myself for the first time, it only took 4.5 hours to actually charge the device with the device powered off entirely. But you are basically charging this like you would charge your phone overnight. So you will need to charge this every night or you don't take it off the charger if you don't have a reason to move it. So now what do you do with the Google Home Mini with the G1? Well, the first thing that I could think of is making the Home Mini a portable speaker. The G1 comes with a band so you can hang around pretty much anywhere, and if you have a lot of them, you could pretty much have a semi-mesh network of speakers playing all around you. For me, I believe this is probably the first thing that will come to mind because I feel that this is what you're going to probably get the most use out of it. Imagine if you had one of those phones that have the projector attachment to it. You could essentially put the movie on the wall and have Google Home Minis around everybody to spread out the sound. Besides that, I find that everything else could be done by just having an Android phone, or you would really kind of be stretching out to have a reason to use the G1. So for this device, it's hard to justify it in certain situations because it really boils down to what are you going to use the Google Home Mini for now that you have a more cordless option with it. There is one extra product I do want to talk about that Kiwi Design has sent me, and I was a little surprised since it has nothing to kind of do with the Google Home Minis, but has something to do with the Google Home Wi-Fi. Or it's the Google Wi-Fi, I don't remember at this point, but the device itself I'm referring to is the G3. The G3 basically does what the G2 does for the Google Home Mini, but in a less impressive way. The setup is basically you push the puck in the big hole until it clips onto the bottom, put the power adapter through the hole, and just thread the cable insert into the bottom, and there you go, a wall mount for your Google Home Wi-Fi. Even though this one seems like a cheap alternative compared to the G2, you can get a pack of 3 for these for only $16 versus how much the G2 costs, which is $11 for the 1 unit. So being able to put the Wi-Fi plugs closer to the socket and being out of sight seems like a better option, since if you have a mesh of Google Home Wi-Fi's that can be weaker depending on how far they are with each other, you have an easier time to move them around without having to worry about the counter space. But with this one, you definitely have to put it on the bottom part of the socket since it comes straight down, unlike the G2. Now I want to come to the conclusion for everything by ending it with who do I think these products are for. The short bad answer is it depends on what kind of person you are. The more drawn out answer is how minimalistic you want to be to not consider other options and making what you already have work better for you. At the end of the day, 2 of these products help you get back your counter space that you're using for your Google Home Minis, and the other one is basically a way to have your Google Home Mini kind of move around the house or take outside with you. I can see myself using the G3 more for the external plugs that I have in the bedrooms, just because I feel like I'm making them cleaner and I don't need them to really plug up to anywhere. But it also introduces the problem of running Ethernet cords at a longer distance from the devices that I have to run them on, and kind of make it a little bit more clutter and maybe not as clean. Also, because you have to run the Ethernet cables through the bottom, you do introduce that little bit of space so they're not flat on the wall. Kind of thinking about all the products, honestly, there isn't really anything too too much negative to say about them than what I've already mentioned before. All three products have a very pleasing design and really help with the cable management of each device. The G1 and G2 do at least come in other colors, and they both have rubber bottoms, so you don't really have to worry about them falling from chest height down. Still, price will become a factor for the G1, as I believe that paying for an extra attachment for a device that already starts at $50 for a normal price will get people thinking, why would I buy this when I can get a portable JBL speaker or portable Sony speaker that has Google Assistant on it and get a better sound? So really, I feel that if you have the mindset of, I want to expand what I already have so I don't have to buy another device just to use for this particular thing, then I can see the G1 being a valuable product. And because of the design for the G2 and the G3, I feel that these two products do what they need to do, and for that, I believe that the price will not deter you from at least trying them out. Everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you really liked the video or it really helped you out, please hit the like button and share with your friends. If you love the content that I provide and want to see more, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. And if you would like to support the channel more, you can go to the merch store where you can get the stickers, hoodies, and shirts, as well as the Amazon affiliate link for all the products that you saw in today's video down below. With that, hopefully everything that you saw today will help you make a better and a more informed decision tomorrow.